If you are a horror fan, you have probably watched the movie Jeepers Creepers along with its many sequels at some point. The story of the demonic creature wreaking havoc on unsuspecting victims brought fear and anxiety to audiences worldwide, but what most people don't realize is that it was actually inspired by actual events. Now don't worry, there is no demonic man-eating creature you have to watch out for. The real story is a lot different, so let's dive right into it. Dennis Depew was born on June 13, 1943 in Sturgis, Michigan. Dennis came from a middle-class family and for most of his life remained in Michigan. In 1971 he married his wife Marilyn and they had 3 children. Although it lasted for 18 years, their marriage was very strained and conflictive. Dennis was often described as withdrawn and even violent to his wife. Marilyn had even mentioned to her friends how unhappy she was and that she wanted a divorce, which she finally went through with in 1989. Marilyn was given custody of the 3 children, but Dennis was given permission to make bi-weekly visits, although the kids were very reluctant to spend time with him. On April 15, 1990, Dennis went to Marilyn's house to pick up 2 of the children for a visit. However, the children had refused to go with him, which made him angry. When Marilyn tried to talk to him, he started yelling at her and then grabbed her and threw her down the stairs. After that, Marilyn was knocked unconscious, so Dennis grabbed her and told the children to take her to the hospital. In the end, Dennis and Marilyn never made it to the hospital, and the oldest daughter, Jennifer, ran to the neighbor's house to call the police. Now what does this have to do with Jeepers Creepers, you may ask? Well, this next part may sound a bit familiar if you watched the first movie. Later that day, Ray and Marie Thornton were on the road when a high-speed truck passed them. They noticed that their license plate started with GZ, but they didn't pay much attention until a few minutes later, when they passed an abandoned school and saw the truck. They then saw the driver leaving with a bloody shirt. A few minutes later, they saw that the same van was following them, so Ray turned onto another road, and the van stopped on the side of the road. Then they turned to see if they could see the full license plate to write it down and turn it into the police. While doing this, they saw the man change the license plate and noticed that the door was covered in blood. They returned to the abandoned school and found the bloody shirt. Then they decided to call the police. After the police arrived, it was discovered that the van belonged to Dennis, and that he had murdered Marilyn by shooting her in the head. Her body was found lying near a deserted road. Later it was discovered that Dennis had changed his name to Hank Queen and had an affair with a woman named Maria, who would later learn of his true identity. A friend of Maria's gave the license plate number of Dennis's van to the police, and Dennis was found to be in Louisiana crossing the border into Mississippi, prompting the Louisiana police to start a chase. In the end, Dennis turned the gun on himself and took his own life. I've told this story many times, and the common thing I hear from people after they find out the true story is, "That's not even scary," or something of that nature. But honestly, in my personal opinion, the true story is pretty scary when you think about it. I mean, of course it's not as scary as a demonic creature who is planning to eat your eyes, but it's scary in a more personal and human way. What happened to Marilyn could happen to anyone at any time and for almost any reason. It's hard for me to personally even fathom a person I've been with for 18 years taking my life, but the fact that there are millions of cases like this shows the possibility is beyond real, and for me that's scarier than any made-up demon.